So he had Rudy Giuliani on his live show. This wasn't even like one of these dinky little meet and greets. Oh, thank you, CN, for the... Let's see it in here. Yay! Okay, hold on. Sorry, it hasn't shown up on my watch yet, but thank you. I will check again in just one moment. It will take a moment for it to go through, but appreciate it. The Venmo right over there. You can use it if you feel like buying me a cup of coffee or something like that. So here's this is Rudy Giuliani on context. Now here's the crucial part. Giuliani's going to give a bunch of bullshit answers, but it's the lameness of the questions that I want people to pay attention to.
All right, well, let's take a look at this one, let you explain what's going on here. I'll just let you put this in context.
There's nothing wrong with taking information from Russians.
There's nothing wrong with taking information.
Depends on where it came from.
The reason to keep all these things together is precisely to avoid what the Democrats did in this election, which is to misuse the absentee ballot process and the mail-in ballot process.
God, it's cringy.
In order to cheat. How's that guy a general? Jesus. The other day, he said that the Bagram Air Force Base is not strategically important. I wanted to grab his, what do you have, 5 stars, 10 stars, 12 stars? He has so many stars that come into his ears. I wanted to grab his stars, shove it down his throat and say, it's 400 miles from China.
Well, those are all very...
Okay, just, I don't know if you remember that weird speech or whatever. That was a while back. But, I mean, just the hubris and ignorance mixed together in this dude is stunning. Now, I think, again, I don't know, this is an episode they did called What Happened to America's Mayor, Rudy Giuliani, which is, again, I don't think this is not Dr. Phil and his people being on Giuliani's side. They seem to be kind of like setting him up to look like an asshole. But it's hard to tell because he spends the show is almost concocted under that idea, but then Dr. Phil ends up just running interference for him the whole time, trying to maybe because maybe just Dr. Phil's chicken shit. Maybe that's what it is. He just sits across from these people, and no matter what, he just starts blowing them.
Very different. Let me explain them. There isn't a single thing I've done that I can't explain.
There isn't a single thing I've done I can't explain. Oh, really? How about sexually harassing, assaulting, and controlling your assistant for like 2 years by not paying her? And as she accrued debt, she only had one way out, and you were, the president's fucking lawyer, so she was afraid to come forward or sue you until, and basically until other people had taken you down. Explain your behavior then. What is this? Those are my titties shit. Remember that?
Most of what we're living through, which I think a lot of people have a hard time rejecting, this is not accidental destruction of the United States or accidental destruction of our moral basis.
No, I agree. I think Vladimir Putin elevated the likes of you and Donald Trump in an attempt to, thanks, Dave, attack our system. Absolutely. I think Rudy's election campaign was backed largely by Russia as a thank you for him brooming out the Italian mob so the Russians and Chinese could move in New York, let's just say, and then elevating him to a position next to Donald Trump because they could both cover each other's asses during this attempt to destroy our elections.
Or an accidental destruction of our belief in God, or an accidental destruction of our belief in the national anthem. All
right. Well, I don't have a belief in the national anthem. It serves as a theme song. It's not the Constitution, dumb fuck.
Or an accidental destruction of our love of the flag so we can burn it.
Okay, I've said this before, and I will say it again. The American flag is stronger when you can burn it, because that makes it, I believe the American flag represents freedom, and that includes the freedom to burn it. By the way, if you drop a flag on the ground, the proper way to dispose of it is for it to be burned. If it's worn out or torn or any of that, you're supposed to burn it when you're done with it. That said, the ability to burn it, because it represents freedom without any legal ramifications, makes it the Obi-Wan Kenobi of flags. I'm reading. Don't read and talk at the same time. Makes it the Obi-Wan Kenobi of flags. Because if you destroy it, it only becomes more powerful. Because you can even do that. Other countries, you can't do that. If you burn the Chinese flag in China, you're going to fucking jail. And therefore, in contrast, the American flag should represent the freedom to burn it. I think it's bad. I don't recommend it. I think it's terrible, right? But I have a freedom to believe that, as opposed to being forced by the state to say that, which is different. And he doesn't know the difference because he's an asshole.
Or an accidental destruction of, we can walk out on our unit before it goes into battle. Or an accidental destruction.
By the way, he's talking about like Walls retiring after 24 years. When, by the way, at his age, would have never seen battle. Just silly, but whatever.
Of saying things like, well, socialism is really nice. And I've been there, I know. This is coming from 175 years ago, from a man named Karl Marx. I am a scholar on Karl Marx. Graduated from college with a minor degree in philosophy. Marx was the minor degree.
Also, no. Rudy Giuliani did not graduate from college with a minor degree in Marxian philosophy. He might have gotten a minor in philosophy, but the primary point of his study was not fucking Karl Marx. It's just garbage. It's just nonsense.
I was there for the tail end of the Cold War. I developed Pfizer. I did the first 50 Pfizer wires. None of them contain a lie.
Also, no, he didn't. New York was the center of it. It was brought to him.
The one with Jim Comey. I know the danger of communism. I've known it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. I knew even when Reagan beat Russia, and I was so close to Reagan, I would consider him a second father. And his mother, his wife, I adored. I got her a letter from Bibi Netanyahu saying, if it wasn't for your husband, we wouldn't have had Iron Dome. And if it wasn't for Iron Dome, 100,000 Israelis or more would die. Who was against Iron Dome? The demented one of the White House. And the silly woman that's running for president.
Also, no, they are not against Iron Dome. Nobody's against Iron Dome. It's a defensive weapon. It is like no one is against that. Like literally Biden had U.S. warships go down and shoot Iranian missiles out of the sky. Like this is just garbage. It's just gibberish.
They were both against it.
No, they weren't. Not at all. They were not. Nobody, including Rudy Giuliani, thinks they are. He's selling something. This is garbage.
They were against everything that could help the United States.
They're against everything that could help the United States. Like the Israeli Iron Dome, which they aren't against.
Quote, Cabinet Officer Gates, Democrat, served with him. Joe Biden's been wrong about every matter of foreign policy in his career.
Also, no, he wasn't. And let me give you a really good example. Right about the time when that was said, the surge. Biden was right. We should have gotten the fuck out. That's the point. Biden was absolutely correct. Under Obama, he said repeatedly to Barack Obama, look, the generals are going to come to you because they're hammers and everything's a nail to these guys, and you have total respect for them. But this is crucial. They're going to come and say, no matter when they say we're going to finish, we just need another 6 months. They're going to set a date. You're going to start the withdrawal, and then they're going to do it again. And then in 6 months, they're going to do it again. And in 6 months, they're going to do it again. And they did it the entirety of Obama's presidency. And when Biden got in, they told him the same thing. He's like, you got 30 days, you got 90 days past that date to get everybody out. But we're not staying. We are leaving. Get your shit together. We're going. And he stuck to it. And he took the hit. He fucking took the hit with like Trump and saying this is the most embarrassing moment in American history and blah, blah, blah about the exit from Afghanistan. Biden fucking did it. Trump ran on getting us out of Afghanistan and didn't do shit.
Giving you a signal. He doesn't have the guts, doesn't have to say, hey, come on, the Red Chinese own him. Unfortunately, the Red Chinese own more people around here than you think.
I don't know if this lady's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Even Dr. Phil's like, I don't even know who are you looking at? You're talking to me. Talk up here. The Red Chinese. Fuck me. Again, talking points from 1986. But no, if, well, here, I'll give you an example. Chat room, because I love you. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was Bloomberg, I want to say. Article today about China. See if I can find it quickly, or I have to send it to myself like an asshole. Yeah, here we go. Here's what did, ladies and gentlemen, what did China get in exchange for all the money it allegedly flowed into Biden's accounts? What'd they get for all their China money? China's deflationary spiral is now entering dangerous new stage. Prices seen as falling through 2025 as wages demand languish. Long-term deflation could be major setback to China's economy. You think? Because Joe Biden, since he got in office, has been knifing the tires of the Chinese economy, basically because it's so aligned with the military that you can't remove the strength of their military spending without undercutting all the other industries as well. And everybody was afraid to do that until fucking Biden got in and he was like, I don't give a shit. China's economy-wide prices in longest decline since 1999, which, by the way, was preceded by Clinton getting wise to a bunch of shit they were doing. And then Bush gets in and da-da-da-da. And then this is the fall after the 2008 crash. And then everything pops back up because it was all cheap goods. Then it resettled again. Then it went down here. And then Trump comes in and whoop, just selling all this stuff. And then, of course, 2019 and 2020 because of that. And then there's this spike again because everything was cheap again. As there was like buying cheap shit. So there's this artificial spike and then collapse. This is the renewed direction. It's not going to correct. There's nothing to bring it back up. There's no point. Oh, it's so aggravating. Okay, so anyways, Red Chinese own whatever.
And your country.
Also, I'm wearing a Flynn's Arcade shirt from Tron. Some people are asking because of the, yes, it's one of my favorite shirts. I wear it every so often. Just saying. Thanks for noticing.
Being sold out for you. Do you think that when Joe Biden gave up the Bagram Air Base, 400 miles from China,
right? I mean, we have boats 30 miles from China. We have nuclear submarines off the coast of China. We have them all throughout the South China Sea. We don't, and by the way, why would we keep a base in the middle of nowhere surrounded by ISIS-K all the time just so our soldiers can get shot at or bombed every so often?
During the time he was selling us out in Afghanistan, do you think it occurred to him that his family, 6 years leading up to that, had gotten $61 million?
By the way, 3 times the highest estimate of everyone even tangentially attached, meaning Devin Archer and fucking Whitey Bulger's kid, right? They didn't get anywhere near that kind of money. The Biden family or something.
From China. That's not a guess. I have the documents in my room showing it to you.
What? In your room? Dude, that entire audience is not some fucking maggot waitress you met in a cigar bar that you're trying to lure up to your hotel room, you old fucking creep.
Now, they say, oh, the money didn't go to him, except there's a text hidden even by the conservative media.
Oh, and also, no, it wasn't. And you know this is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite texts.
Very often, that says, from Hunter Biden to his daughter, that he's very upset that for 35 years, I have had to give half of my income to my father.
No, he hasn't. Okay, dum-dum. Specifically, what he was talking about in that text was she was at school and she was complaining about something. And while Hunter Biden was in school, he lived at home, so he had to pay rent to his dad because it was character building. It was important for you to pay your own fucking bills. If you're going to live at home, you're going to pay for your upkeep, for your part in the house, because Biden was not a rich dude. So Hunter had a job, and he had to give half of what he made for rent and food and all that kind of stuff because he lived at the house. That wasn't the rest of his career, just then. This has already been debunked 100 times. Like, it's absurd. Secondly, in what world does the bag man get to bitch about how much money the Godfather gets? If Biden is the big guy, we've covered this a bunch of times. If Biden is the big guy, then how dare you? It ain't your money, dumb fuck. Right? What bag man gets to keep half the content of the bag?
You're telling me there's no evidence?
There's no evidence. I'm telling you, there's no evidence. None. You're talking out of your ass, you fucking creep. Let me remind everybody also that remember the Four Seasons total landscaping thing that he did? He thought he was at the Four Seasons. He came out. The first person he brought up to testify sort of in front of the press as one of his guests that day that would talk about, I don't know, whatever their bullshit claims of election fraud and stuff. Guy was the first person he had up was a convicted sex offender. Just saying, first guy, right out of the gate. Not the seventh person, not the 12th, not in the pile of affidavits. First fucking guy.
That he got money? What is evidence? Evidence is testimony.
No, testimony is not evidence. You can have evidentiary testimony, but that's not what most people think. Most people think of a smoking gun as evidence.
It's evidence. You can't walk away from trial by just saying it's not evidence unless you are a protected Democrat.
No, you can't have unverifiable testimony. No one is going to be convicted entirely on circumstantial evidence given in testimonial form without something. You either had to be close by, your phone fucking pinged in the neighborhood, there was other stuff. But just because he's reading a text about him bitching to his daughter about the fact that his daughter doesn't have to pay rent because she doesn't live at home the way he did when he was with his, he lived at home during his time in college. Like, it's just stupid. This is just lame.
What has become a system.
Okay, and the other thing that's important, this is just horseshit, and I'll move on. But what's the important part of this? All this shit that Rudy Giuliani is saying right here, yeah, why is he facing the crowd and not Dr. Phil? Because there's nothing to be had from Dr. Phil. Because Dr. Phil is doing this entire program to rehab Rudy Giuliani, allow him to blather at this crowd and try to maybe salvage himself. The same way he was kissing Trump's ass during that entire interview and trying to diminish RFK Jr. until he dropped out and then joined Trump. Now he's a big fan of RFK Jr. But he was trying to cut against his programs. It was an adversarial interview that he was having with RFK Jr. But now that he's with Trump, he likes him. It's just fucking stupid. Like, this whole thing. Dr. Phil is singularly the dumbest motherfucker interviewing people today. Rudy was caught on video trying to have sex with a 15-year-old. I believe it was even film, because that was him trying. He thought the interviewer in Borat was 15 years old, and he was trying to get her to touch his dick. Ugh. Fucking hell. Anyways, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show.